You've seen these images every time you go in the launch program. Maybe some of you saw similar images when you were recently in Iceland, I don't know. But you always get this talk from the design about this active lifestyle, this lifestyle-inspired images. Now the cool thing is, at Jeep we actually live up to that promise. Those are some images of what the team does in the process of designing a Jeep vehicle. And yes, that is Mark Allen up there with the green shirt. He's our head of Jeep exterior design, driving a golf ball in the sand pit where he got stuck with his Wrangler, actually. So what we do is we take these guys, we put them out there, they go off-roading, they play paintball, they do all kinds of crazy things, they come back to the studio, and then on top of that, Ian is actually here. He's sitting behind you. Anyone raise their hand? He's actually the man who designed the interior. I'm just, I'm taking the credit for it. But he's actually the guy who did all the work. He did all these sketches. The good thing about Ian is at that time he was the youngest kid in the studio. He's from Amsterdam. So I know I would get creative work out of him. And what you see here, some of his first sketches. The one on the right, it seemed a little bit too much. Yeah, someone else could have done that. It's not far enough. The one on the left, that was my favorite. It looked too much like a German U-boat was the problem to our British CEO, Mike Manley, so that one didn't fly. Anyway, this is the one he came up with. And this is the sketch, and you'll see here in a minute how nicely it translated to production. This is the sketch he came up with. And I think it shows a nice bridge about production, producibility, Jeep language, but still having this fun shapes in there. You see all these typical Jeep shapes, right? The trapezoidal wheel arch. 1, 2, 3. You see those shapes all over the place. And of course, you see that big, massive grab handle. Here you see it, inspired from the Wrangler. We lovingly call it the oh shit handle. I hope you don't need it today. I'm certainly not under that expression. But that's one of course. And you can, the cool thing is, the engineers have done a really good job putting that thing in position, because you can take that grab handle and rock the whole vehicle with it. It's really sturdy, really capable. Another thing you see up there is our little friend Wall-E, those AC outlets on top of the instrument panel. Now the reason Ian came up with that solution was simply because we wanted to keep the instrument panel slim, okay? Now you see there's not enough space to put the AC outlets on either side of the screen as we do with the Grand Cherokee or the Cherokee, so we had to put them on top. But we didn't want to raise the whole surface, so we thought, okay, how can we make that a little fun statement? And so Ian came up with this little thing, and as I said, it's been Wall-E ever since. Talking about since 1941, of course, little homage to where we come from. And another homage to our history is this jerry can inspired theme. You saw a lot of those details already on the outside with that embossed X. And we took the same detail on top of the roof, but also on the inside. You see there on the cup holders. Here's a closer view. The little X pattern in the bottom. The bigger thing here really is not so much the X pattern necessarily, but here's some, we think, clever packaging. Because what you're looking at is really like Central Park, New York. This is prime real estate in a car, right? This is where everything wants to go, but only so few things can go. And Jeep being capable, for us it was important, at the end of the day, storage has to go there. So we decided to not do that parking lot hanging down there, which would have occupied that whole space. Instead, you get 2 big cup holders or storage containers for all kinds of things. And instead, what we give every single vehicle, all the way down to the base model, is the electronic park brake. Okay? Now, the color combination you see here, by the way, that's my favorite color combination that's available. It's actually this vehicle here. It's that sea gray with the orange and brown. It's actually inspired by base jumping suits, by free falling. Now, on the other Jeeps, you often hear me talk about, like, inspiration from locations around the world, Grand Canyon, all these things. In this case, it's more like, now it's not so much the guy who travels around the world, it's the guy who travels to closed locations and does some crazy things. Basically, all the sports you don't want the kids to do, like trespassing, sand surfing. We had some parkour running in there. There you go. I don't know what happened to the guy. Only his backpack is left, I guess. But this is the Trailhawk. This is the vehicle that we have here. And that one has this exclusive color combination. This is only available in the Trailhawk. The other ones you can mix and match throughout the price classes. This one is always all black, and it comes with those anodized red accents. Being a Jeep, the other thing, of course, is storage capability. Yes, no surprise, you can fold down those seats. Second row and also the first row, so you can take along your sports gear. And then you also have the ability, as you heard before, to take out those roof panels. Now, this is actually a pretty cool feature. I still don't know how the engineers figured out how to do that. You can power slide them, just like a normal sunroof, or just pop them out. Okay, so you can actually do both, and please try it. It's actually pretty neat feature. Now, of course, the off-road capability. The cool thing is now we also upgraded the technology across the Jeep range with having 7-inch displays in the cluster. Now, the 7-inch display is important because it gives us more real estate to communicate with a driver what the status of the vehicle is. So yes, you do get in the Trailhawk the terrain select that you're familiar with from other vehicles. You can go through all the different stages, and now the cluster clearly communicates to the driver what the status of the vehicle is. Talk about the cluster. We talk about those outings we had. This is my paintball mask down there after we took the team paintball playing. And yes, sure enough, I got a hit right on my mask. And the cluster designer thought, dude, that's cool. So the next day he came to me and he had this sketch of the cluster with that paintball splash there as a ref limiter. Now, in the PR material, you will read politically correct, it's a mud splash, but in reality it was actually inspired by a paintball outing with the team. Now, we always talk about these little Easter eggs, or whatever you want to call them. Last night, Fred, where are you? There you are. So Fred and I had a little chat, and this is a world premiere, my friends, so sharpen your pencils. Because we always talk about more or less these Easter eggs, where do they come from? There's a couple of Easter eggs in this vehicle again, so for those of you who are into that thing, go out and find them. My favorite, and that's the only one I'm going to give away, is actually around the push to start button. There's a little engraving, so you can see that. But anyway, this is what Fred showed me last night. 1962, mystery pattern reveals tiny Jeeps in the CJ 3D upholstery. You see that blue pattern at the bottom? There's a W in there for wheelies, and there's a little Jeep in there. So our Easter eggs go back at least to 1962. I felt like I found an Inca treasure last night. It was so awesome. So anyway, if you ever doubt where those Easter eggs come from, we had them since 1962 at least. On that note, that's our friend Wally. Thank you very much. Ian,